Who is the Nord Electro 6D73 actually good for? Who should walk away? And does it justify the price tag for a regular gigging musician or a home studio hobbyist? Those are the three questions I keep hearing whenever someone pulls up a stage piano on the market and wonders if it belongs in their rig. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'll walk through why that matters before you decide to spend a chunk of cash on this instrument. First off, the hesitation usually starts with the keybed. The Electro 6D comes with a 73-note semi-weighted waterfall layout, which sounds like a nice compromise between a full-size piano feel and a slim, portable design. In real-world gigs, that means you can set it up on a fairly tight stage without blocking too much space, yet still get enough resistance to play expressive chords on the organ or piano sections. If you've been playing on a synth with a light synth action keyboard, the added weight might actually improve your playing dynamics. On the flip side, if you're a classical pianist used to a fully weighted hammer action, the semi-weighted feel will feel a step short, and you might end up compromising technique when you switch back to a real piano. The biggest selling point of the Electro 6D is its three independent sound sections: organ, piano, and sample synth that you can pull up instantly with dedicated knobs. In a live setting, that translates to less hunting through menus and more time focusing on the performance. I've seen keyboardists who run a church organ patch while simultaneously layering a soft electric piano for a ballad, all without missing a beat because the instrument lets you switch sections on the fly. If you need that kind of flexibility, the 6D really shines. However, the trade-off is that each section shares the same 73-key surface, so you never get a dedicated 61-key organ manual plus a separate 88-key piano feel like you would on a full-size stage organ. For players who rely on distinct tactile zones, that can feel limiting. Another practical strength is the live slots feature. You get 4 slots to store your current sound setups, which you can recall instantly via foot switch or button. Imagine you're a solo performer moving from a gospel organ groove into a synth-driven ambient piece. You can preload each configuration and hop between them without pulling out a laptop. That's a huge time saver on stage, especially when you have a tight set list. The downside is the slot count. 4 is generous for most gigs, but if you're a multi-instrumentalist who likes to have a dozen different patches ready, you'll need to juggle them manually or rely on external MIDI controllers to expand the workflow. Now, let's talk about the piano section itself. Nord offers a wide selection of acoustic, electric, and digital piano models, and the sampling engine is fairly robust. In my tests, the sampled grand piano patches sounded realistic enough for club gigs, and the electric piano tones had that classic Nord grit that many players love. The real advantage shows up when you combine those piano sounds with external samples via the built-in sampler. A gigging producer can trigger a drum loop or atmospheric texture right from the keyboard, eliminating the need for a separate laptop or sampler. The catch? The sampler's memory isn't limitless, and loading large multi-gigabyte libraries can be a bit of a hassle. If you plan on using the sample section heavily, you'll need to be comfortable managing the onboard storage and possibly investing in an external SSD. Portability is another factor that often drives the buying decision. At 73 keys, the Electro 6D is lighter than a full-size 88-key stage piano, and its sleek black finish looks good in any venue. I've taken it on a tour bus, and the built-in handle makes it easy to load in and out of a gig case. That said, the waterfall key shape, while stylish, means you can't rest your palms as comfortably as on a flat-top keyboard. If you play long gigs that last over an hour, you might notice some wrist fatigue compared to a traditional flat-top action. Who should definitely consider the Nord Electro 6D? If you're a gigging keyboardist who needs organ, piano, and synth sounds in one package, and you value quick sound changes and a compact footprint, this is a solid match. It also works well for home studio players who want a reliable stage-grade instrument without committing to a full 88-key piano. The price point is justified when you factor in Nord's reputation for reliable sound engines and the convenience of 3 sections in a single unit. Who should walk away? Pure piano purists who demand an 88-key fully weighted action will feel shortchanged. Also, studio producers who need massive sample libraries or deep editing capabilities might find the built-in sampler a bit restrictive. Lastly, anyone on a shoestring budget should weigh the cost against the possibility of buying separate, cheaper gear for each sound section: a dedicated organ, a budget digital piano, and a synth module, which could end up cheaper if you don't need the all-in-one convenience. In terms of value, the Nord Electro 6D earns its price where it